Ko Zangpola and welcome to Bhutan e-learning project. I am Karma Dema, a teacher of Jigme Namgyal Law Secondary School under Thimthom. I will be presenting a mathematics lesson for Key Stage 3, that is for classes 7 and 8. We are going to learn about ratio, rate, proportion and person. By the end of the video lesson, you should be able to differentiate between ratio and rate, calculate unit rate, explain real-life proportion and person problems, solve word problems related to proportion and person. What is ratio? Ratio is a relationship between amounts or items. We can also say a ratio compares values. A ratio says how much of one thing there is compared to another thing. Let's say 4:3. There are 4 triangles and 3 squares. We can write the relationship in the form of ratio. So here the ratio of triangles to squares is 4:3. We read as 4:3. We can write ratios in 2 different ways. Number 1, part-to-part ratio. Here we compare one part to another part. Let's take the example of 4 triangles and 3 squares. Example 4:3 we read as 4:3. Here we are comparing triangles to squares. That means triangles are one part of the ratio there, and again squares is another part of ratio. So here we are comparing triangles and squares. That means we are comparing part to part of ratio. Number 2, the part to whole ratio. Here we are comparing one part to the total. Let's look at the example of 4 triangles and 3 squares. So altogether we have 7 shapes. So here we are going to compare triangles to total shapes. The ratio of triangles to total shapes is 4:7. 4 is part of the ratio and 7 is total of the ratio. It is called part to whole ratio. Let us discuss something interesting about ratio. Again, let's look at the example of 4 triangles and 3 squares. So here we are trying to compare 4 triangles to 3 squares, and ratio written is 4:3. That means the ratio of triangles to squares is 4:3 and it is written as 4:3. Now we are adding 4 more triangles and 3 more squares. As we know that for every 4 triangles there are 3 squares. So we added 4 more triangles and 3 more squares. So what is the ratio of triangles to squares? So how many triangles do we have here? Yes, now we have 8 triangles and 6 squares. That means the ratio of triangles to squares is 8:6. Again, we are going to add 4 triangles and 3 squares. Now, what is the new ratio of triangles to squares? It will be 12:9, right? It will be 12:9 as we have 12 triangles and 9 squares. Again, 4 more triangles and 3 more squares. Each time we added 4 more triangles and 3 more squares, it clearly says for every 4 triangles there are 3 squares. The new ratio is 16:12. 4 to 3 is equal to 8 to 6. 4 to 3 is equal to 12 to 9. 4 to 3 is equal to 16 to 12. And 4 to 3 is also equal to 20 to 15. They are known as equivalent ratios because they are equal. The lowest term of ratio given is 4 to 3. From the above relationship, we knew what equivalent ratios are. And whenever we write equivalent ratio, we always go for the lowest term. That means which is in lower value. Now let's move forward by finding equivalent ratio. We can find equivalent ratio by multiplying or dividing the terms of the ratio by the same number. I have two examples here. So, example number 1, to find the equivalent ratio in a greater term, you have to multiply the terms with the same number. Example A, I have ratio here is 4 to 3. Now we are going to find the equivalent ratio of 4 to 3. Do you know what should we do here? I clearly said in the beginning that we are going to find the equivalent ratio in greater term, so you have to multiply. So we will multiply. First, let's multiply 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Then by the same number again, you have to multiply with 3 there. The other term of the ratio is number 3. So, number 3, again you multiply with 2, you get 6. So, equivalent ratio of 4 to 3 is 8 to 6. Now, let's look at example B. Again, here we are using the same ratio, that is 4 to 3. Now here we will multiply the terms by 3, number 3. So 4 times 3 we will get 12 here, and 3 times 3 we get 9. Again we can say 12 to 9 is equivalent ratio of 4 to 3. Let's look at example number 2. Now here we are going to find equivalent ratio in lower term. That means you have to divide the terms by the same number. Example A, let's take the ratio as 8 to 6. Okay, as we are finding the ratio in lowest term, we are going to divide. So let's divide by 2. Let's divide the first term, that is 8. So 8 divided by 2. When you divide 8 by 2, what number do you get? Yes, very good. We get number 4. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And again 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 is the second term of the ratio, and when you divide 6 by 2, you get 3. Example B. Ratio I have here is 12 to 9. So we are going to write that ratio in lowest term. When you are writing that ratio in lowest term, we have to divide it. So let's divide by 3. As the first term of the ratio is 12, so 12 divided by 3, we get 4. And the second term of the ratio is 9. 9 divided by 3, we get 3. So, equivalent ratio in lowest term of 12 to 9 is 4 to 3. So, from both the examples here, you knew that the simplest form or the lowest form or lowest term of the ratio is 4 to 3. We have been talking about the equivalent ratio. Again, we have a beautiful name for equivalent ratio, and that is called proportion. Or we can say equivalent ratio can be called proportion. So, example here, 3 to 4 is equivalent to 18 to 24. 3 to 4 is the ratio in lower term, and 18 to 24 is in greater term, but they are equal. That's why they are called equivalent ratio. They are called proportion. Ratio can be written in fraction. Example, like the ratio we are using is 3 to 4. So the fraction will be 3 over 4, and which is equivalent to 18 over 24. Let's see how we are going to find the missing proportion. Indirectly, we are finding the equivalent ratio of the given ratio. Now, let's go through the situation. To make orange paint, Gelso mixes 2 parts of yellow paint and 3 parts of red paint. Gelso has 50 ml of yellow paint. How much red paint does he need to make orange paint? Now let's look at the solution. When we are finding the missing proportion here, we are writing the ratio in the form of fraction. So here we are comparing yellow paint and red paint. Okay, so let's say yellow over red is written as 2 over 3. As Gelso already had 50 ml of yellow paint, so we are going to find out how much red paint does he need. So to find out that, we are using the scale factor. So I'll let you know what scale factor is after we finish solving it. Let's look at the fraction there. It is 2 over 3, right? It is 2 over 3. And Gelso has 50 ml. That means 2 here. Another numerator is 50. Now look at 2 and the 50 there. So 2 how many times is 50? Now you have to use your knowledge of multiplication here. So 2 how many times is 50? Yes, 2 times 25 is 50. Now you already know 2 times 25 is 50. Next, what should we do to find the denominator or the amount of red paint? Okay, very good. You have to multiply 3 times 25. Okay, then tell me, 3 times 25 is how much? Okay, very good. 3 times 25 is 75. So, in both the terms, you use 25. That's why we can say the scale factor is 25. Now, to answer the question, how much red paint does he need? The answer is he needs 75 ml of red paint. Let us look at one more example. The ratio of number of people standing to the number of people sitting in a bus is 3 to 6. Now let's say if 9 people are standing in the bus, how many people are sitting? So we will use the proportion to find the number of people sitting in the bus. So here we are using a ratio table to solve the proportion question. Number of people standing, 3, right? 3 people are standing and 6 people are sitting. Now what is our question? Our question is to find out the number of people sitting when 9 people are standing. So when you are solving this question, you just have to reflect the knowledge of ratio which we already learned. Now we got 9 people standing. So 3 how many times is 9? Yes, 3 times 3 is 9. Then again we have to multiply 6 times 3, that is 18. So how many people are sitting in a bus? Yes, 18 people are sitting in a bus. Very good children, you all are doing a great job. Uses of ratios and proportion in our life. I have 4 points here, so let me read out the points to you. And when I read the points to you, you have to think over, reflect it and see whether you are using it properly or not. Point number 1, it helps us to simplify many of our interaction by putting numbers into perspective. Point number 2, it allows to measure and express quantities by making them easier to understand. Point number 3, even cook uses to follow the recipe. Point number 4, be used when we are dealing with money, like starting a business or anything. So that's all about ratio and proportion. So let's look at what is rate. Rate is like a ratio, but it describes a relationship between two numbers with two different units of measure. Look at the example here. Let's say an archer is shooting an arrow. Okay, now his arrow travels at a rate of 150 meter in 2 seconds. So when I say 150 meter in 2 seconds, 150 meter is the distance here and 2 is the time. So like I said in the definition up there, it shows the relationship between two numbers with different units. So 150 is a number here, 2 is a number here, but the units of measure is different here. 150 is the distance here and 2 is time. Unit rate is an equivalent rate that has 1 as its second term. It is also known as average rate. Example, if a person walks 15 kilometers in 3 hours, the equivalent rate that would be 5 kilometers in 1 hour. A unit rate like 5 kilometers in 1 hour is usually written as 5 km per hour. Even though it means 5 kilometers in 1 hour, we can also read as 5 kilometers per hour. We say the average rate is 5 kilometers per hour. Again, we are still with the rate here. We have a special kind of rate, that is speed. Okay, speed is a special kind of rate. It is distance per unit time. I have few examples of speed here. First example, 5 kilometers per hour. Second example, 4 meters per second. And the third example, 45 meters per minute. So here it talks all about distance and the time. Now we will look at how to solve rate problems using rate table. We have a situation here. So 4 pineapples cost Newton 80. Now here we are going to use the rate table to find out the cost of other numbers of pineapples. Question number 1. How much would 8 pineapples cost? Cost of 4 pineapples, so it is Newton 80, and for Newton 80 we get 4 pineapples. Now to buy 8 pineapples, how much do we have to pay? Now we already know the number of pineapples which we are going to buy. So 4 how many times is 8? Yes, 4 times 2 is 8. Now what should we do to find the cost of 8 pineapples? Yes, we are going to multiply 80 times 2, and when you multiply 80 times 2, you get 160. So the cost of 8 pineapples is Newton 160. Question number 2. How much would 1 pineapple cost? We want to find the cost of 1 pineapple. Now for 4 pineapples we have to pay Newton 80. Now we are going to buy only one pineapple and we are going to find out the cost of one pineapple. So how do we get 1 there? So you divide 4 by 4, so you get 1. And to find the cost of the pineapple again, you have to divide 80 by 4, and when you divide 80 by 4, you get 20. So cost of one pineapple is Nultum 20. As we are finding the cost of one pineapple here, so we say that is the unit rate, okay? So Nultum 20 per 1 is called as unit rate. So we will talk about uses of rate in real life. Rates are commonly found everywhere, every day in our life. Even in a grocery shop, when we go to buy vegetable in the vegetable market, we use the rate. And the speed of the car, the speed of the buses, it is also a rate. We are applying rate here. Again, the people walking, like how much distance can we walk in 2 hours, 1 hour, 5 hours? These are all rate. Okay, now what is percent? Percent is a special ratio that compares one amount to another amount. Percent is also a special fraction that always have 100 as denominator. In simple, we can say percent can also be understood as out of 100. Percent is denoted using this symbol. Okay, for example A, 35%. Okay, 35%, it can be written in a form of ratio. 35 to 100. Okay, 35 to 100. Here we are writing part to whole ratio. We can write like 35 out of 100. And again, percent can be written in a form of fraction 35 over 100, or in a decimal form, we can write it as 0.35. B, 9%. We are talking about 9% means 9 out of 100. Okay, 9 out of 100. Or we can say 900th, or we can say 0.09. C, 100% means 100 out of 100 or 100 over 100. It is another way to say one whole. Now when we talk about percent, we mostly use 10 by 10 grid here. So I have a few models of 10 by 10 grid here. The whole grid is 100%. On that 100% grid, or on that 10 by 10 grid, 35% of the grid is shaded and 65% of the grid is not shaded. And see here, I have shaded 3 rows and 5 squares, which makes 35%. You may be thinking that this is the only way to shade 35% on a grid. No, this is not, right? We can do it in other way around. There are many ways to represent the same percent. So, see here, you can see again, I have 10 by 10 grid here. Here I have shaded one column here, another column here, another column, and 5 squares. So again, it represents 35% on grid. Now we will see how to solve percent problems. Okay, so example number 1. To find 45% of 80. First, you have to rewrite 45% as 0.45 and you have to multiply. So here we are writing the percent into decimal and we are doing the multiplication. So 45%, we always have to know or remember that 45 is out of 100, and in decimal form it is written as 0.45. So 0.45 times 80, you will get 36. Therefore, 45% of 80 is 36. Some of you may not be able to multiply directly here. You can always use the longer method of multiplication by arranging in columns and multiplying. Now let's move forward with example number 2. Find 10% of 300. Now again, what are you going to do here? Yes, you are going to write 10% in a form of decimal, which is 0.10, or we can write 0.1, and then you have to multiply. So 10%, which is equals to 10 over 100, which is equals to 0.10 or 0.1. Now you multiply 0.10 times 300, you get 30. So therefore we can say 10% of 300 is 30. You may be thinking that these are the only method to solve percent problem, which is not correct. We can even use proportion to solve a percent problem. Now look at the situation there. If you know that 4% of a number is 28, you can use proportion to find the number. Whenever you hear the word percent, always try to remember it is always out of 100. So 4%, or we can say 4 out of 100, must be equivalent to 28 out of the number you want. Now let's write the percent in fraction form, which is 4 over 100, okay, which is 4 over 100. 4% of a number is 28. Now, how do we get 28? 4 how many times is 28? Yes, 4 times 7 is 28. When you multiply 4 times 7, you get 28. Now, what should you do? You have to multiply 7 with the 100 and you get it 700. 4% of a number is 28. The number is 700. Let's look at more examples here. Sonam used 9 centimeter long pencil, which is 50% of the length of the new pencil. Okay, so here you have to find out the length of the new pencil. So percent, like 9 centimeter is 50% of the new pencil. We already have the ratio there, 50 to 9, and we can say 50%. 9 is 50% of the new pencil. Now, when we say 100%, like new pencil, length of new pencil means we have to find the 100%. So 100, we already have 100. So 50 times 2 is 100. Then you have to multiply 9 with 2, you get 18. 9 times 2 is 18. The length of the new pencil is 18 centimeter. Now we will look at another example. Dindu played an archery tournament. He shot 90 arrows and 40% were curries. How many curries did he hit? 10% of his arrows were dobjes. How many dobjes did he hit? Now look at the solution. The number of arrows he shot is 90, which is 100%. Like we can say it is 100. Now first we will find out the number of dobjes. As it is 10% of his arrows were dobjes, so we got 10 here. So how did we get 10 here? Yes, we divided 100 by 10, we got it 10. we have to do the same thing. Divide 90 by 10. When you divide 90 by 10, we get 9. So, he hit 9 dobjes. We already found out the number of dobjes. Now, we will move on with the caress. So, 40% of his arrows were caress. So, 10 times 4 is 40. 9 times 4 is 36. So, he hit 36 caress. We will discuss the uses of percent in our real life. So, let me tell you about the uses of percent. We use percent in many ways in our everyday life. Out of that many ways, I have 5 ways here. So, let me read out. Number 1, used every day to find how much sales tax should we pay when we buy something. Number 2, how much is something cost when it is on sale. Number 3, how much money we can make by starting a business. Number 4, how much fiber is there in a chocolate bar. Number 5, how much do we score in our exam? So let's recapitulate today's lesson. We learned about ratio, rate, proportion and percent. I have some questions for you to explore on your own. Question number 1. Doji ran 3 kilometers in 20 minutes. At that rate, how far would he run in an hour? Question number 2. Sonam got 19 questions right on a maths test. The questions made up 76% of the test. How many questions were on the test? Question number 3. The ratio of Karma's mass to Gelso's mass is 5 to 4. If Karma's mass is 40 kg, what is Gelso's mass? Question number 4. In an archery contest, the ratio of caress to total arrows are 58 to 100. A. Write this ratio as percent. B. What percent were not caress? Last question, that is number 5. If 6 oranges cost Newton 48, what is the cost of each? A. 12 oranges. B. An orange. Thank you and see you in next lesson.